Foi tentando doar um de seus rins que Ramiro Gonzalez salvou a própria vida. O homem de 39 anos foi condenado à morte no Texas, mas pouco antes de sua execução, pediu adiamento da pena capital para encontrar um recipiente para seu órgão saudável. No interim dessa busca, o especialista que condenou Gonzalez à morte voltou atrás em sua sentença, afirmando que os dados ligados ao caso eram falsos ou imprecisos e que o americano não era, portanto, um perigo à sociedade. Essa reviravolta, que se deu nas últimas 2 semanas, voltou a colocar em xeque a legitimidade da pena de morte nos Estados Unidos.
Weighed against that is the fact that there have been cases that we know of now of people who've been executed who were innocent. And at least if they had received a life sentence, they would have had an opportunity to prove their innocence and then hopefully be released at some point.
The United States is the only Western country on the planet with a death penalty. No other Western country has a death penalty. So when you're looking at the countries that kill, you're talking Russia, China, Syria, North Korea, Iran, and the United States.
A pena de morte nos Estados Unidos é a sentença do racismo, que atinge de maneira desproporcional a população.
There is a disproportionate number of persons who are executed or sentenced to execution, either because they themselves are African, Black, or Latino, or simply because they killed a white person. If you kill the wrong person, you're much more prone to being sentenced to death, so that there continue to be great discrimination problems with our system.
Certainly, if you look at a map, you can see that parts of the country that used to have slavery are much more likely to have the death penalty than other parts of the country.
Uma das justificativas usadas para continuar apoiando e aplicando essa prática bárbara de sentenciar à morte é o custo. No país mais capitalista do mundo, a ideia de que uma pessoa morta é mais barata que uma pessoa presa ganha popularidade, mesmo que seja mentira.
The cost, having the death penalty, is much more expensive than keeping people in prison, even though that seems counterintuitive. But the cost of the appeals, the cases are much more complex, so it costs the states a lot more money to execute someone than to keep them in prison for life.
Os dados desmascaram também a narrativa de que a pena de morte é uma ferramenta eficaz para a prevenção de crimes contra a vida, assim como os argumentos conservadores e religiosos.
There is no evidence that's ever been presented that the death penalty as such deters murders. In other words, the fear or threat that if you commit a murder, you will be executed. There's no evidence that it reduces murders in general.
The two things that the right wing in this country has never read is the Constitution and the Bible. So if you actually look at Deuteronomy, which I've read, you talk about an eye for an eye. But if you actually read it, what that clause indicates is not if you murder somebody, you get the death penalty. What that clause actually says is when you bear false witness, you get the penalty the person you bore false witness against would have got. I mean, Jesus was executed falsely by the state. I mean, how many justifications do you need if you're a Christian evangelical to not support the death penalty?